What's up, guys? LQ here with the LQ Review, here to talk about the Odyssey. Yes, my son and I, we got to go see the Odyssey last night. And just to be clear, Christopher Nolan is a little hit and miss for me. I've liked a lot of his movies. There's a number of his movies that I really don't like. I'm going to say one of the hottest takes that I've probably ever put onto the internet. I think Interstellar sucks. like, I was so bored during that movie. Bunch of pseudoscience gobbledygook that just, yeah, I was incredibly bored in the theater for Interstellar. So, like I said, I have not loved everything that Nolan has done, but I've liked a lot of it. And I have to tell you that I really liked The Odyssey a lot. It's definitely one of my favorite Christopher Nolan movies. Now, like a lot of people who are my age, I'm in my 40s, I read The Odyssey in high school English class. And, it's been 30 years, around 30 years, give or take, since I've read it. And honestly, I forgot a lot of it. And when I was sitting there in the theater watching this movie, it was amazing how much of it came back to me while I was watching it. And it came back to me in a way that was imagined much better than I could have ever imagined it. And it was a really cool way to kind of rediscover this story that I knew so long ago. Yeah, Matt Damon owns this movie. He is phenomenal as Odysseus. He just has a great screen presence. His character is one that makes mistakes and then grows from those mistakes. And yeah, just a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful character. And Matt Damon did a great job bringing him to life. Anne Hathaway did a great job as Penelope. Anne Hathaway is just a powerhouse performer. Tom Holland did a great job as, I forget the guy's name, the Matt Damon's son. Tom Holland did a great job in his role. Robert Pattinson, he did a pretty good job playing the villain. A villain that I hated this guy. And I was supposed to hate him. So clearly, Robert Pattinson did a great job bringing the character to life. There was some controversial casting choices made in this movie, and I'm perfectly willing to talk about those. The first controversial casting choice was Lupita Nyong'o as Helen of Troy. Yeah, you know what? When I first read it, I kind of questioned to myself too. I was like, well, that doesn't really make a lot of sense. But I reserved judgment for the movie, as I did with the other controversial casting choices. I reserved judgment. And guys, quite frankly, Lupita Nyong'o is one of the greatest actresses in the world right now. She just brings it in every role that she's in. So, yeah, I'm sorry, guys. I have no problem with Christopher Nolan casting Lupita Nyong'o, gasp, a black woman, as Helen of Troy. I have no problem with it. Diane Kruger wasn't Greek either. She was very German. So, no problem with it. I think, she did a great job in a very limited role. Like, Lupita Nyong'o has, maybe 5 minutes of screen time, maybe a handful of lines. Put on your big boy pants and be happy that Christopher Nolan was able to get phenomenal actors and actresses to play even small roles like this one. The next one was Zendaya's Athena, and the way that Christopher Nolan described it in this movie, it's that this was how Matt Damon, I don't want to go into too many spoilers here, but this is how Matt Damon sees the goddess. So that's not necessarily how she looks, but that's how Matt Damon sees her. And there's a very specific reason why Matt Damon sees her that way, why Odysseus sees her that way. Again, Zendaya's not in this movie much. I think she definitely pops up a little bit more than Lupita Nyong'o. She definitely pops up a little bit more than Elliot or Ellen Page, whichever one you want to call her. I don't care. She definitely pops up more than both of those, but she's really not in it much. And then there's the one that really didn't work for me, and that was the casting of Elliot Page or Ellen Page. Guys, I don't care if you call him Elliot Page or her Ellen Page. I don't care. Frankly, I'm bored by it. I'm bored by the whole trans conversation in the first place. For the sake of my own sanity, from here on out, I'm just going to refer to this person as E Page. All right, so E Page is in this movie and has a little bit bigger role than Lupita Nyong'o. E Page is playing Sinon. Sinon, I don't believe, appeared in Homer's The Odyssey. I believe that Sinon appeared in some other writings down the road, some other adaptations down the road. And quite frankly, it was a bad choice. It was just a bad choice for this character. It didn't work at all. Here's the problem. And like I said, I could care less. You could be one of those people who shouts from the mountaintops that E Page is a dude, and that's fine. You could be one of those people that is going to go into the ground one day screaming that E Page is a chick. That's cool. I don't care. But you want to know what E Page is not? A Greek soldier. Definitely not. Definitely not. This is an actress. Like I said, I don't care what you refer to E Page as. But this person is very tiny, has a very feminine voice, has very feminine features. This person is a very feminine, small, petite person who does not look like a Greek soldier in the slightest at all. And quite frankly, it took me out of the film when I was watching it. Now, it's just a miscast. It's just a miscast. There's been miscast actors and actresses in other movies, and I've liked those movies. Not all, but some of those movies that have miscast actors and actresses I've liked. Here's the reality. E Page is in this maybe 6-7 minutes. Very, very small role. And yeah, I don't see the point in getting your panties in a bunch over a miscast on a very, very, very small role. Other than that, guys, the acting here is phenomenal. The sound design is great. There's the sound design with the Cyclops, with the giants, Cersei. Oh, such a great sequence with Cersei. Sound design is phenomenal. The score. You know, I read someone who's saying that the score wasn't great. I don't know what score you were listening to because I loved it. I love the score here. But the sound design was really where this movie popped. It was so good. There were parts... I mean, go see this on the biggest screen possible. See it with the best sound system possible because there were parts where the sound design just kind of shook the theater. And it was amazing. Nolan does have a habit sometimes of letting his score overwhelm the dialogue. And that happened a few times here, but it's not the most egregious thing that Nolan has ever done as far as score overwhelming dialogue is concerned. This is a great movie. This is a great movie. I loved it. The first half, the first 2/3 of the movie, it was a little episodic. And because of its episodic storytelling nature, combined with the fact that this story was told in a lot of flashbacks, it is a little jarring at first. It's a little jarring at first, and it takes some getting used to. But once Christopher Nolan settles into his rhythm, yeah, it was firing on all cylinders. Like I said, I loved it. I mean, I think I like The Dark Knight a little bit more. This was outside of the Batman movies. The Dark Knight specifically, this might be my favorite Christopher Nolan movie. Just thought it was phenomenal. Just thought it was phenomenal. Maybe Oppenheimer is still technically a better made movie than this is, but Oppenheimer for me has not had the rewatchability that I think this movie is going to have. I'm going to sit down and watch this movie a number of times, and that's for the performances, that's for the action, that's for the special effects, that's for the journey, that's for the Odyssey that Christopher Nolan takes us on here, and it was fantastic. And I just want to take this Odyssey again and again and again because it was so enveloping. Just, you were there. You were a part of this tale. You were part of this tale that was told close to 800 years before the birth of Christ, and it's still relevant today. And that just goes to show what a strong story it is, and what stories like this can do, what timeless stories like this can be in the hands of very competent storytellers like Christopher Nolan. So again, fantastic movie. Yeah, the first two acts might have been a little clunky, but once you got into the rhythm of it, that last act was just dynamite. Loved it. And yeah, The Odyssey was a great movie, guys. I definitely highly recommend it. But that's just me. What did you think of The Odyssey? Let me know in the comments down below. While you're down there commenting, make sure that you subscribe to my channel. And until next time, we'll see you guys later.